The year was 2017. The place Delphi, Indiana, a town that seemed to be frozen in time, where the hustle and bustle of modern life felt like a distant echo. A small town, the kind where everyone knows their neighbor, where life moves at a slower pace, the kind of place where children play freely in the parks and neighbors chat on their front porches, sharing stories and laughter. But on February 13th, that peace was shattered. Two young girls, Abigail Williams and Liberty German, vanished while hiking on a local trail. The trail, usually a place of serenity and natural beauty, became the center of a nightmare. Their disappearance sent shockwaves through the community. This wasn't a big city where such tragedies might fade into the background noise. This was a place where everyone felt like family, and the loss was deeply personal. This was Delphi. This was personal. The entire town felt the weight of the tragedy, as if a dark cloud had settled over their once sunny skies. The search was immediate and frantic. Volunteers combed the woods, desperate to find the girls. The community came together, united in their determination to bring Abigail and Liberty home. Hope dwindled with each passing hour. Then the discovery, the news that everyone feared but hoped would never come. Their bodies were found close to the trail. The details were too horrific to release to the public. The community was left in a state of shock and mourning, grappling with the unimaginable. The idyllic image of Delphi was forever tainted. The question wasn't just who could do such a thing, it was why. Why would someone bring such horror to their peaceful town? The murders of Abigail and Liberty weren't just a local tragedy, they became a national obsession. News outlets across the country picked up the story, and soon the eyes of the nation were on Delphi. The case had all the elements of a true crime thriller, young innocent victims, a cryptic piece of evidence in the form of a grainy image of the suspect, and a haunting audio recording of a man's voice saying, "Down the hill." These chilling clues only deepened the mystery. But unlike so many other cases that gripped the nation's attention, this one remained unsolved. The lack of closure left a wound that refused to heal. Years passed, tips poured in, but the killer remained elusive. Detectives worked tirelessly, sifting through countless leads, but the answers remained just out of reach. The mystery deepened, and with it the sense of unease. The once tight-knit community now looked over their shoulders, haunted by the unknown. The Delphi murders left a scar on the town and on the national psyche. Memorials were held, candles were lit, and tears were shed, but the pain lingered. They served as a chilling reminder that evil can lurk even in the most unexpected places, hidden in plain sight. The sense of safety that once defined Delphi was shattered. And until the killer is brought to justice, the shadow of that day on the bridge will continue to haunt Delphi and all who know the story. The bridge, once a symbol of connection and beauty, now stands as a somber reminder of the day innocence was lost. The Monon High Bridge, once a picturesque landmark, became a symbol of tragedy. It was here on that February afternoon that Abigail and Liberty were last seen alive. The bridge itself, a decaying structure of rusted iron and weathered wood, took on a sinister air. The very air seemed to crackle with unspoken secrets. The crime scene was like something out of a nightmare. The tranquility of the woods was shattered, replaced by the chilling presence of violence. Investigators worked meticulously, searching for any clue that could lead them to the killer. But the scene yielded more questions than answers. The girls' belongings were scattered, seemingly placed, not dropped in haste. The killer had taken the time to stage the scene, a chilling indication of a calculated and depraved mind. Whispers of something darker, something ritualistic began to circulate. The placement of the bodies, the deliberate staging, it all hinted at something more than a random act of violence. Could this have been the work of someone driven by something ancient, something sinister? The thought sent shivers down the spines of even the most hardened investigators. The community, already reeling from the loss of two of their own, grappled with the implications of these rumors. Fear and suspicion replaced the friendly atmosphere that once defined Delphi. Neighbors looked at each other differently, wondering if the killer was someone they knew, someone they trusted. The bridge, once a place of childhood adventures and carefree walks, became a chilling reminder of the evil that had visited their town. Ritualistic killings. They are not just the stuff of ancient legends or the dark fantasies of horror movies. They are real, and they have left their mark on history. These gruesome acts are often depicted in films and literature, where the line between fiction and reality blurs, creating a chilling narrative that haunts our collective imagination. But sometimes the line between fiction and reality blurs in the most unsettling ways. The stories we tell to scare ourselves can sometimes mirror the darkest corners of human behavior. The Delphi murders, with their eerie crime scene and whispers of strange placements, forced people to confront the possibility that something ancient and evil had found its way to their small town. The peaceful facade of Delphi was shattered, revealing a sinister undercurrent that no one could have anticipated. The idea of ritualistic murder is as old as civilization itself. From the dawn of human history, societies have engaged in ritualistic practices, often involving the taking of a human life to appease unseen forces. Throughout history, cultures have practiced various forms of ritual sacrifice, often involving the taking of a human life. These acts were believed to be necessary to maintain cosmic balance, to ensure the favor of the gods, or to ward off disaster. These acts were usually performed in the name of appeasement, to please the gods or to gain some kind of supernatural favor. The methods varied from elaborate ceremonies to brutal executions, but the underlying belief was the same, that spilling blood in a specific way could influence the spiritual realm. The methods varied from elaborate ceremonies to brutal executions, but the underlying belief was the same, that spilling blood in a specific way could influence the spiritual realm. The power of these rituals lay in their ability to invoke fear, awe, and a sense of connection to something greater than oneself. In the modern world, the idea of ritualistic murder seems almost unthinkable. We live in an age of reason, where science and technology have demystified many of the ancient beliefs that once held sway over human minds. We pride ourselves on our rationality, our scientific understanding of the world. We believe that we have moved beyond the superstitions of the past, that we are governed by logic and reason. But the darkness of the human soul knows no bounds. Despite our advancements, there are still those who are drawn to the shadows, who seek power in the ancient rites and rituals that once dominated human culture. There are still those who cling to ancient beliefs, who seek power in the shadows, who find a perverse sense of purpose in the ritualistic taking of a life. These individuals operate in the dark corners of society, hidden from the rational world, yet driven by a belief in the power of blood and sacrifice. The Delphi murders, with their chilling details and unanswered questions, have fueled speculation about a possible ritualistic motive. The positioning of the bodies, the whispers of ritualistic objects placed in specific positions, all point to a killer driven by something more than just rage or a desire for violence. The staging of the scene that was carefully staged, the objects at the crime scene and the methodical nature of the crime suggests a deeper, more sinister purpose. Could it be that the killer was acting out some twisted ritual, using the deaths of Abigail and Liberty as a sacrifice to some dark force? The possibility is both terrifying and fascinating, a reminder that the echoes of ancient rites still resonate in the darkest corners of the human psyche. As we take a deeper look into the mystery, we must confront the uncomfortable truth that the past is never truly gone. The ancient rites and rituals that once held sway over human minds continue to influence us, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to emerge. The investigation into the Delphi murders continues, with detectives and forensic experts working endlessly to uncover the truth. But as they sift through the evidence, they are reminded that some mysteries are not easily solved and some questions may never be answered. The echoes of ancient rites still reverberate through time, a haunting reminder of the darkness that lies within us all. As we seek to understand these brutal acts, we must also confront the deeper, more unsettling truths about human nature and the lengths to which some will go in their quest for power and meaning. History is littered with chilling examples of ritualistic murders. These acts, often driven by a complex web of beliefs, superstitions, and societal pressures, have left an indelible mark on the human psyche. From the blood-soaked altars of ancient civilizations to the dark corners of the modern world, the taking of a human life in the name of ritual has been a haunting constant. These acts, often shrouded in secrecy and steeped in symbolism, offer a glimpse into the darkest recesses of the human heart. The motivations behind these ritualistic killings are as varied as the cultures that practiced them. Some believed they were appeasing gods, while others thought they were warding off evil spirits or ensuring a bountiful harvest. Regardless of the reason, the common thread is the belief that such extreme acts were necessary for the greater good. One of the most well-known examples is the Aztec practice of human sacrifice. The Aztecs believed that their gods required a constant supply of human hearts and blood to maintain the cosmic order. The Aztecs believed that their gods required a constant supply of human hearts and blood to maintain the cosmic order. Elaborate ceremonies were held where victims were led to the top of pyramids and their hearts cut out while they were still alive. These sacrifices were not random. They were often chosen for their beauty or social status, and their deaths were seen as a necessary evil to ensure the continued existence of the world. The Aztecs believed that without these sacrifices, the sun would cease to rise and the world would plunge into chaos. This belief was so deeply ingrained in their culture that entire wars, known as flower wars, were fought for the sole purpose of capturing sacrificial victims. Another chilling example comes from medieval Europe, where accusations of witchcraft often led to ritualistic killings. Those accused of consorting with the devil were often subjected to horrific tortures and executions, often burned alive or hanged. The fear of witchcraft was pervasive, and the belief that witches posed a threat to both body and soul fueled these brutal acts. Communities were torn apart by suspicion and paranoia, leading to the deaths of countless innocent people. These killings were fueled by fear and superstition and the belief that witches posed a threat to both body and soul. The infamous Salem witch trials are a stark reminder of how fear can lead to the persecution and execution of innocent people. Even in modern times, there have been cases of ritualistic murders that have shocked the world. The Manson family murders, for example, were fueled by Charles Manson's twisted ideology and his desire to incite a race war. The Manson family victims were brutally murdered, and their deaths were meant to be a symbolic act that would usher in a new era of chaos and violence. These modern-day ritualistic killings serve as a grim reminder that the dark impulses that drove ancient sacrifices and medieval witch hunts still linger in the shadows of so-called modern society. Whether driven by ancient beliefs or modern ideologies, the act of ritualistic murder continues to captivate and horrify us. It forces us to confront the darker aspects of human nature and the lengths to which people will go in the name of their beliefs. As we look back on these chilling examples, we are reminded of the power of belief and the sometimes terrifying consequences of human conviction. The blood that has been spilled in the name of gods, demons, and ideologies serves as a stark warning of the potential for darkness within us all. In the end, when blood calls to the gods, it is a call that echoes through the ages, a haunting reminder of the depths of human sacrifice and the enduring power of ritual.